Hey everyone, welcome back to GL Spinners. Today I've got another new Spinner Day video for you. We are taking a look at the Kai from Neospin. So usually at this point in the video is where I show you the packaging, but in this case, no tin. They actually just shipped it in a baggie and a padded mailer, so kind of a disappointment there, but came out okay, so no big deal, but I always like to see the tins. Let's go ahead and move on to the spinner though. First thing you're going to notice is this is a large spinner. We've seen a trend towards the micro or mini size spinners lately, but this one is definitely not following that trend. This is a tri-arm frame and it's really large. The frame itself is aluminum and you've got stainless steel balls embedded at the end of each arm for weight. But despite its size with that aluminum frame, it still only weighs in at 75 grams or 2.6 ounces, and then from end to end it measures in at a whopping 3 inches. So kind of a big one. We haven't seen that in a while, but let's move on to the spin. So Neospin's been selling buttons and bearing adapters for a little while now. As far as I know, this is their first spinner, and with this spinner their intention is to really show off their specialty. So they designed it for a 608 bearing and they installed their Neo drive in it. So even though that bearing slot is sized for a 608, this is still using an R188 bearing and it's got an incredibly smooth spin. So talking about in hand, again, it's pretty lightweight for its size. You can definitely tell the frame's aluminum. The stainless steel weights on it are a needed addition. The machining's done fairly well, and you can see there is some chamfering on the arms, but it still feels kind of rough, and especially on the corners here, it is a little bit sharp. But overall in hand, it does spin well. It's a tri-arm design, so it's got plenty of room to get nice one-handed flicks. It's fairly easy to fidget with, but one thing to keep in mind is with the frame being such a large size, if you've got small hands, it might not be the best choice for you. Just overall, you know, the size of it's going to limit it a little bit, but it does fidget well. Moving on to the buttons, these are great. Neospin sells some nice buttons, and these are no exception. They're large stainless steel and they're my favorite style with the recessed pad, the raised edge around them as well. They just give you a really great grip and they're very large. So I'm a huge fan of that. One other thing to point out on this spinner though is the sides are not identical. You can see this top side here has kind of a raised edge around the center, and you can tell they machined it out. The bottom side though is completely flat. I guess this probably saved them some money on machining, and at first it really didn't seem like a big deal because it really doesn't affect the feel of the spinner in your hand, but I realized it does make one thing a problem. You can only table spin this on one side. If the flat side's down, those weights hit the table. If the raised side is down, it works fine. Not a huge deal and not a completely like don't buy this spinner type of thing, but it is something that I wanted to make sure I pointed out because you can't really tell this on their website or from the pictures. But let's move on to Neospin's bread and butter. You're going to see the buttons are threaded, and underneath you've got their Neo drive. You can see it's a direct replacement for a 608 bearing. In this case, I'm pretty sure it's held in with some adhesive, but it functions flawlessly. This entire side actually is threaded, so it can be unscrewed and it houses the R188 bearing. A little bit of a difference is they do include the world's largest Allen wrench with this. The tools necessary to actually remove that side. A little bit different from what we're used to, but they give you the tool, so no big deal. You're probably just not going to carry it around in your pocket though. So like always, I take these out before the video, did a couple of table spins. I got around 3.5 minutes. That is on the side that actually works for table spins. So again, not the best, but not that bad. Let's go ahead and compare it to my closest size spinners. I don't really have one that's currently this size, but on the right here, you're gonna see the Steampunk Spinners Fat Boy. It's pretty similar, but it is a much thicker frame spinner. Again though, it does use an aluminum frame. And here on the left, I've got it next to the Very Dapper. You can see the Very Dapper is just much smaller, but it actually does way more because this is the stainless steel version. So, overall, the Kai's not a bad first offering. On Neospin's website, they actually say the frame was machined by FLP Engineering out of Denver. So I'm not sure if they're going to make a version 2 or if they're going to completely design a different one in the future, or if they're even going to make any more spinners. Again, the different shapes of the sides was kind of strange, but, not a bad first offering. They have them on their website for $30 right now, and I'll have a link in the description down below if you want to purchase one. But let me know what you think. Did anyone else give this one a try? As always, if you've got questions, put them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you like the video, be sure and give me a thumbs up, as it always helps. And if you want to see more spinner content and reviews, be sure and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Have a good one.